I'm good.
You all set? Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. I'd like to call the 2026 Putnam County Legislative Organizational Meeting to order. I would like to ask Legislator D'Angelo to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We remain standing. I'd like to ask Legislator Regan to lead us in the legislative prayer.
Lord, we seek blessings on the task before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. This time I'd like to ask the Clerk of the Legislature for roll call for attendance.
District 1, Legislator Montgomery.
Present.
District 2, Legislator Woolman.
Present.
District 3, Legislator Agnazio.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Russo.
Present.
District 5, Legislator D'Angelo.
Present.
District 6, Legislator Regan.
Present.
District 7, Legislator Birmingham.
Here.
District 8, Legislator Sage.
Present.
District 9, Legislator Crowley.
Present.
Great. Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this time, I'd like to move on to agenda item 4, appointment of Chair of Putnam County Legislature. Let's entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, Legislator Russo.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Bill Goldman as chair.
I'd like to second the motion. I think Bill has been a wonderful asset to this legislature. He has served 11 years. He has chaired almost every committee. He's been a dedicated servant, and I would love to second the motion.
Are there any other nominations? Legislator Regan.
I'd like to nominate Legislator Dan Birmingham for chairman, please.
Second to that nomination?
Second that nomination.
All right. So on the first nomination, I would ask Clerk for a roll call
Legislator Agnazio.
No.
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo.
Yes.
Legislator Woolman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
I think we can make comments, and I don't think the floor was closed to nominations either, was it?
vote. I didn't get a motion to close, but if you, would you like to?
You're only accepting 2 nominations?
Are there other
Okay,
nominations?
that's my point, but no, I don't have any other nominations, but it's practice to, ask for other nominations, because there could be another nomination. I've often nominated myself. But tonight, I want to start by saying this is not an easy vote, and that's because both these candidates who have been nominated before us have given years of service to Putnam County. Both have shown commitment and institutional knowledge and a willingness to step up when asked. And I want to acknowledge that openly, because leadership isn't built by tearing one another down. It's built by recognizing real work when it's done. So I also want to say that I care deeply about the health of this body and the working relationships in this room, because none of us can serve our constituents well without mutual respect. I'm also aware that the position I'm in tonight is somewhat unique, and I don't think it's a secret to anybody. My vote is not shaped by party loyalty. My vote is not shaped by a caucus position or a coalition agreement. My vote is not shaped by a congressman's phone call or text message or anyone outside this room. I want to say this carefully and respectfully. My vote is not guided by any party discipline or pressure from party leadership. My obligation, and the only one I take seriously, is to the people of Putnam County, the residents of my district and the shared constituents we all serve together on this legislature. So for 7 years, I've watched votes in this body follow instructions that have had very little to do with the merits in front of us, sometimes even when that came at a real cost to the county. I've also experienced what it means to have ideas dismissed, not because they were unsound, but because of who introduced them, me. And I want to be clear about something. It never affected me personally. Anyone who knows me knows this is not a fragile ego. What it affected, and what concerns me, was the cost of Putnam County. When good ideas were delayed or sidelined for political reasons, the people who pay the price are our residents, our county employees, our environment, and our budget. We've lost tens of thousands of dollars and valuable time, not because solutions weren't available, but because politics got in the way of progress. I'm not saying this to revisit the old frustrations, you've all witnessed it. I'm saying it because I hope sincerely that we are at a moment where that way of operating ends here. Tonight, my vote is not about loyalty to a person, it's not about settling scores, and it's certainly not about punishing anyone. It's about choosing leadership that I believe will protect the independence of this legislature. We just saw that in the most recent votes. It's about running a fair process and allowing every member, regardless of party affiliation, to do the work we were elected to do. So I want to say this with care. I respect Legislator Goldman, and I'm grateful for the way he has always treated me as a colleague. His service to this county is very real and meaningful. Reasonable people can reach different conclusions in moments like this. So after weighing what this legislature needs at this moment, I will not be voting for Legislator Goldman.
Legislator Reagan,
No.
Legislator Russo,
Yes.
and Legislator Sage.
No.
Motion passed.
Ask for a roll call on the second motion.
Legislator Adnesio,
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham,
Yes.
Legislator Crowley,
No.
Legislator D'Angelo,
No.
Legislator Pullman,
No.
Legislator Montgomery,
Yes.
Legislator Reagan,
Yes.
Legislator Russo,
No.
and Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman. I took good notes for you.
You did. They're all yours. And let's thank Mike Bartolotti. He's been our chair of the legislature for what, at this meeting, for what, 14 years, 13?
What?
11 years.
Who's counting?
Felt like 14.
It's okay.
But let's thank. Thank you. We do have some more items on the agenda, of course, but before we begin, I do want to thank those folks who supported me. I hope I don't let you down. And to those that support that I didn't have, I am going to work very hard this year to earn your support and your trust. And I made that commitment to you tonight. So thank you. With that, we're going to move on to item number 5, appointment of the deputy chair. Are there any nominations? I'd like to make a nomination. Legislator Sage.
I'd like to nominate Tommy Regan.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Bill Goldman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate myself for the reasons spelled out in my statement. I know you guys have to stick to party lines. If you don't, you'll get reprimanded, but I think it's time for that to end here. Y'all know how hard I work.
Is there a second?
Doesn't need to be a second for it to go on the floor.
I agree.
We'll do a vote.
I agree. Okay, we'll go to a vote. And are there any other nominations? We have 3 nominations. Okay, we'll ask for the first nomination for Tommy Regan, for a roll call vote from the clerk.
Legislator Addazio.
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham.
Yes.
Legislator Crowley.
No.
Legislator D'Angelo.
No.
Legislator Goulman.
No.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Reagan.
Yes.
Legislator Russo.
No.
And Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Motion fails.
Okay, we have the second nomination for legislator local. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Legislator Addazio.
No.
Legislator Birmingham.
I'll vote yes.
Legislator Crowley.
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo.
Yes.
Legislator Goulman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
No.
Legislator Reagan.
No.
Legislator Russo.
Yes.
And Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Do I have to vote for myself? Okay. But there's still another nomination.
Do a roll call?
I'm happy to hear y'all vote no for me.
I'll defer to council.
Yeah, you have to do a vote.
We have to do a vote. One question, what would happen if that vote carries?
What would happen if that?
Yeah,
In terms of, if the vote carries, it would,
there'd be 2 deputy chairs.
no, I mean, if her vote carries, I think we would have to then call the question and.
Well, this is the question. The question's already been called.
Correct, but you still have to call the vote, I think it would have to be, you have to.
Okay. So, it's a question that the role is fulfilled at this point.
I understand, but I mean, I still think that you have to, I think you still has to be voted, I still think it has to be voted. And I think it would have to be, I would think it would have, I mean, you can't. I think the fact that it's been filled, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think that we should have heard all of the votes to begin with.
What happens usually in a vote like this is we call it wrong. What happens is we shouldn't do a roll call vote with yes, no. The clerk should call out my name and hear my vote. She should call out Legislator Goldman's name and hear his vote, and then tally it all up. And then you know who would win. So we've just been doing the votes wrong all along, but that's okay. I don't wanna belabor this. Is there a way that, since I didn't vote, let's just say I passed, and the clerk can now call for anyone who hasn't voted to vote.
Let the vote go through.
It
Okay.
can't go through. I didn't get to vote. So in essence, I was passed over for a vote. So now I believe what can happen is the clerk, since not everybody voted, the clerk can call for anyone who hasn't voted to vote.
I do have Legislator Montgomery voting no for
Okay,
Legislator Goldman as deputy.
okay,
And no for Legislator Reagan
okay.
from you.
So
Correct, the issue is as.
there's still another nomination on the floor that hasn't been resolved.
Why don't we go through
says, have the vote.
Okay, vote based on the
Have the
council's.
vote go through.
Just through the chair, but she's correct, when there's multiple nominees all at once, where it isn't just two, when it's more than one, it's supposed to, everyone is supposed to name their vote. And so that way, all candidates are all considered, so that way you have the entirety, but because it was done as roll call, yes, no, there's no way to go through it because she has a right to be heard as to it, so.
Question to the chair?
Yes,
That would affect also the chair vote that we just took too, because there were two people, it should have been conducted the exact same way,
If it
correct?
was two people, it doesn't matter because
Okay, three people, okay.
when it's three, it's gotta be done by, people have to choose
why
their
don't we do then a roll call vote on that?
We can't.
On legislative
Legislator
Montgomery.
Montgomery?
Sorry,
No, that's fine, that's
I'll
fine.
know where you stand at least.
Okay.
So we'll call that.
So-
We're going to do a roll call vote on deputy chair, the nomination being legislator Montgomery.
Legislator Adnesio.
No.
Legislator Birmingham.
I'm going to show some real courage here and abstain.
Legislator Crowley.
I feel like I already cast a vote based on the three candidates in a procedural way, so I feel like it would be wrong to vote to change the vote. So Nancy, I respect you, and I'm going to abstain as well because I feel like this vote wasn't done properly and procedurally.
Sure, you're abstaining.
I am abstaining as well.
Legislator D'Angelo.
Well, Nancy, I have a lot of respect for you and the way you govern, and I look forward to working alongside you and creating a good working relationship with you for the people. But my motion is built to be deputy chair, and my vote stands with him, so no, I vote for you for deputy chair.
Legislator Goldman.
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery.
Yes.
Legislator Reagan.
No.
Legislator Russo.
I'm gonna respectfully abstain.
And Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Okay, so there are 3 yeses, 3 noes, and 3 abstentions.
And legislator Goldman got 4.
I got 6.
He got 6.
6.
Nancy, every year, this is all she got. She,
Right.
yeah, absolutely. I'm counting on you to keep us on our toes this entire year. Please continue to do so. Thank you.
Thanks for Cassandra Roth for Robert's Rules of Order.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Appreciate it. The next item of business is the adoption of the legislative manual. It's item number 7. And you can go to that, please. 6, I'm sorry, 6, my mistake, yes. Okay, this is the approval correction to the legislative manual per resolution 164/2021, local law to amend section 206 of the Putnam County Charter entitled Clerk to the Legislature. We have it before us. The resolve clause is that the Putnam County Legislature adopts this correction to the legislative manual. It's in your backup. It's typically, as we see, a what we call a red line. Those items that are stricken in red are being taken out of the legislative manual, and those underlined sections, which are in green, are going to be inserted. And essentially, this is just to synthesize the charter provision 206 with respect to appointment of the clerk to the legislature. We took care of that per charter provisions at our year-end meeting this past December.
and this just simply synthesizes it. What it does is it amends the legislative manual, and then the next vote will be the adoption of the legislative manual. So on this, do we have a motion?
I'll make that so.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? I think we can ask for all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries. Item number 7, legislative adoption of legislative manual. Diane, just to confirm, item 7 does contain these changes that were six? Okay, so this is the full legislative manual as we just amended it. And I would point out that there are provisions in this that were added last year. Significant ones, I think, with respect to live streaming and also public speaking at our meetings, at this meeting indeed as well. I think it's a good document, and I think it's a great document. Is there a motion to move this? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item number 8, it's the adoption of our legislative calendar. This is with respect to all of our regularly scheduled meetings each month. And before you, they are all held on the first Tuesday of the month, with the exception of November, which is held on the first Wednesday, because of course the first Tuesday of November is election day. And some of us may be very busy during that, and certainly the public might not be available to attend. So this is an annual vote that we take. Is there a motion for this?
Comment?
Well, let's get it on the floor in a second, then we'll open it up to discussion. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Legislator Crowley, discussion?
Have we looked at all these dates and made sure there's no conflicts with any holidays? We've had some issues in the past, just want to make sure that that's all been looked at. Jewish holidays, we've had issues with, where we've had to reschedule. Has that been considered in this?
I'm sure it has been, but to the extent for belts and suspenders, we'll take another look at it. Why don't we adopt it like this, and if we need to, we can come back. I've gotten a positive indication from the clerk just now that it has been, but certainly we'll take another look at it to make sure, unless you know something specific.
I just want to,
Okay.
because we brought it to, and secondary
good
to
point.
that, is that moving forward, I would like to see with this calendar, I think it would be a good measure to try and schedule our meetings appropriately, our committee meetings more appropriately, and have them around the same time, like we do with the full each month, so it works with everybody's schedule, it's more effective, and the public will know when there can come and things like that. I just think it's more efficient.
We'll take it.
If that's a motion, I'll second that.
I would note that what we're voting on right now is simply the adoption of our monthly meetings.
And this, physical services, audit, all monthly meetings.
Well,
So,
but not full meetings. What we're following here, Bill, is our manual, which we just adopted. This is a item in our legislative manual.
the agenda actually says adoption of the legislative calendar. It doesn't say full, it says calendar. So a committee meeting is part of the calendar, isn't it?
Let me just pull up the section. Okay, I'm not trying to.
I think it's a good idea
I
that
don't
the
disagree.
public knows that the first Tuesday of every month, the second Wednesday of every month, the third Thursday of every month is a specific meeting. And we really should do that, because having meetings at the last minute really doesn't work for us and doesn't work for the public. So we should really, she made a motion, I second it, and it doesn't say full legislative meeting, so let's push it through.
No disagreement on the substance of what you're
What?
saying. No disagreement on the substance of what you're
Okay,
saying.
so let's-
Well, Bill,
I make a motion, I'll put it through.
Bill, can I just finish, because I think I've got the answer that'll help us. I'm on board with
It
you.
doesn't
So
say full, it doesn't say
But
full.
let's go back
Let's
to.
do it.
Can I finish, please?
What?
Can I finish? Is that okay? Let me just explain where I'm coming from. The legislative manual, which we just adopted, has a section in it called Organizational Meeting of the Legislature. It's Article 2, Section B is in void. Subparagraph F says establishment of legislative calendar. At this meeting, we're supposed to adopt a legislative calendar setting forth the dates and times of all regular meetings for the calendar year, which shall be published. And that's regular full meetings is what we're talking about. Bill, I'm with you and Aaron on this. Hang on with this, and I'd be happy to,
I'm glad you support it, I'll make sure the rules will,
Yep.
bring it up in the first meeting.
Perfect. Erin?
Good Chair, may I consult with council,
Please.
do you mind? Thank you. Heather, meetings, it's a pretty loosely used word, correct? So I know the chairman just cited the.
Regular meetings.
But committee meetings are regular meetings. That's loose language, correct?
I mean, I'm not aware of whether, I don't think that manual does it define regular meeting versus full? Because I think that it actually uses the term full when it means full in the.
Okay.
Unless
Yeah.
I'm corrected, so I think, just in fairness, I think regular meaning the regularly occurring
Yeah.
meeting, so I actually do think that she's correct, that
Okay.
regular includes the committees. So I do think that it, at least in my reading, that's what it meant, because, and the only reason I say this is because I know that the legislative manual specifies full when it means full, specifically. So that's the only, and maybe you have a great deal of familiarity, I know that you worked on it, so if you're aware of a definitional section, I don't think it has one.
Okay. So Erin,
I have,
what, do you want to make an amendment?
I would like to make an amendment, I would like to amend that we can do this tonight, we can pick we can go through and pick which days of the week, or the first week, the second week, the third week, and the fourth week, we're gonna have each committee meeting and add it to here and vote on it tonight. Because it needs to be organized, it needs to be efficient, and I think it would work better for people who come and watch, and we know on the second Tuesday of every month, we're gonna have physical and we're gonna have protective, and we'll have health, or we'll have whatever, and the language is loose, and I think it could be done, and I think it needs to be done after all these years. And I know we all have board meetings that we've discussed, and I've talked about one that I was on, and they would be a conflict on the third Wednesday of every month. So I really would like to see this done, and with the language that I did read, and I would like to see this done tonight. So I have a motion on the floor,
Well, you have an amendment to this.
Amendment to
You've got a
this,
motion on the floor.
that we.
Give us the language, like appropriate.
So I'm gonna defer to council for appropriate language.
I'm not sure what you want.
I would like to solidify committee meetings scheduled on, let's say, the first, so we'll break down the committees that we have and say we'll do it on the first Tuesday, or the second Tuesday, and the second and the third Tuesday, and we can do 3 committees and 4 committees.
Can I make a suggestion through the chair?
Sure.
I don't know that everyone is probably, I just know, speaking with the clerks, that it's very hard to coordinate everyone's schedule. Maybe what the amendment is that for this to be set for a time that concurs with everyone's schedule at a regularly scheduled date. Perhaps we could pass that without specifying the exact date to make sure that it goes through.
I think my idea with this is to do like we have audit the last Monday of every month.
Yes.
And we make sure that we get all the anybody that's there. So department heads will also be able to plan for it. It would make things much easier.
I totally understand. I guess what I'm saying is that and maybe I'm wrong, is everyone prepared to know that they're not gonna have a recurring conflict tonight, not having been prepared for that? That's all I'm saying. I understand what you're saying, and I agree, but I'm just asking whether we want to perhaps table the setting of the recurrent date until we have conferred with everybody's schedule to make sure that, like, as you mentioned, you don't have a recurring conflict. Do you understand?
I do, yeah, I understand. Legislator Montgomery, then Legislator Reed.
I proposed this in 2019, and the Republican-controlled legislature failed to bring it to the floor. And it's something that I've talked about for the past 7 years. If you read Section 3 of the legislative manual, number B, 2A, it does state the chair of each committee upon appointment and after consultation with his or her fellow committee members shall provide the clerk of the legislature with the day of each month on which that committee shall meet. To the greatest extent possible, the chair of each committee shall schedule a committee meeting in such a manner as to provide that said meeting take place on the same day of each month. That does not codify a standard meeting schedule. I would like also to see a standard meeting schedule. So I would like to propose amendment to this legislative manual if I'm not overstepping. There's already an amendment on the table, but I have a clear amendment if you would like it.
The amendment on the table, though, is dealing, because we've already adopted item 7, which is the legislative manual.
Okay.
The amendment, no, that's fine, no, because I was looking at the very same section that you had, and the only amendment here, if I could, the only amendment we could do here is amending the legislative regular meeting schedule. We would have to come back and amend this manual, and as you know, I'm loath to amend our legislative manual. I'm joking, of course.
First dad joke of the year.
First dad joke of the year, exactly. But no, I agree with you, Nancy, and quite frankly, even back when I was on 20 years ago, this was honored in the breach more than the acceptance, that item 3B that you just pointed out. So I do think we need some regularity.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I may still continue.
Of course, please, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Is there a possibility tonight under other business, even though it's not a pre-filed resolution, to amend the legislative manual, section 3B2A, to state to the greatest extent possible, the chair of each committee shall schedule a committee meeting in such a manner as to provide that said meetings takes place on the same day of each year, of the same day of each month. And as an addendum to this legislative manual adopted at the February meeting of the legislature, because we don't know who's going to be on what committee. We don't know what day of the month whoever is going to be chair of that committee or the members of that committee are going to be available. No disrespect to Legislator Crowley, I don't think it is something that we can do tonight to this document and the adoption of the calendar. We don't have the ability to know who's going to be on what committee yet, and I know we all have really busy schedules. So we had, as you know, I proposed 2 pieces of legislation in between the recess of our last legislature and this legislature. We had every opportunity to present a calendar, and we don't have it here. We don't have it in writing. I think it's not in good practice to adopt something tonight willy-nilly when we don't even know what chairs, what committees, and what our schedules are. Thanks, I hope that makes sense.
Legislator Reed.
I wanted to state that in principle, I absolutely agree with Legislator Crowley in terms of the standardization. It's something I thought about in terms of having a Tuesday, Thursday schedule. But the first point that you made, I thought was also very good. We don't have right in front of us all of the different holidays and all the different variations. So while I support the effort in what you're talking about, I do think that it would be something that would be better done, regrouped with all of our chances to look at that calendar. And then what Legislator Montgomery brought up there is the other point, right? With the committees, that even makes more sense. But I was thinking about all the other holidays that you had brought up that we can't fix the plane while we're flying it, right? We have this in front of us.
I think that my goal here is, I understand, and they're both parts of the manual are contradictory, because the one part that council read off said meetings, right? And then the part that Legislator Montgomery read off was about chairs making the decision. So obviously they both conflict with each other. I would, they both suggest the same thing, but both can be interpreted that this is a regular calendar, these are all regular meetings, they're all the same. So I think that right now, I would like to see that what we can do is at least group them together. We have a certain amount of committees, group them together and see if it works. And pass that, and then we can go back and look at it like we've done so many times before, and say, okay, well, there's a holiday on this day, we can't do that. So we usually group, certain, and we usually group certain committees together. It's very easy to do. We can put them forward, and then if they land on a holiday, we can easily amend it. It's not a big deal. We've done this many times before, and we have more special meetings in the past couple of years than we've had since 1996. So I think it would just be good measure to at least try to have something on paper.
You have something now.
Yeah, why don't we do this, just to your point.
So I can,
Why don't you go ahead and give us some language and we'll look for a second and have some more discussion, and then we'll call a vote on it. That might be good. So if you can give us some language that somebody could second, even if it's a general type of language, I think we can have it seconded and then we can vote on it. I don't think there's any disagreement as to the concept. And I can tell you the happiest people in this room, if this does pass or if it passes in committee later on in the month or next month, will be our legislative staff. They will be the happiest people. It's like herding cats, from what I understand, when they have to call people. So if you could give us some language, and in the meantime, I think Legislator D'Angelo has a discount.
Yeah, through the chair, if you don't mind,
Please.
Council. So, do we have to adopt a legislative calendar to move forward with the agenda?
I mean,
Could it be tabled?
you have to adopt a calendar, but you can table certain facets of it. And so that's what I was suggesting, was that you, like, for example, you could adopt the calendar subject to determination of whatever dates on a regular, regularly occurring schedule. You know what I mean? You can adopt something subject to something that's gonna happen in the future. So that way you could agree that you all want to set this in this way, but you don't know your calendar for today. So adopted subject to the amendment that will be decided based on everyone's calendar. You know what I mean? So
And then if I may, Aaron, so I think I'm following you here, would you be saying that you'd want to amend the legislative calendar so that it's not just full meetings, you would want committee meetings to also be part of the legislative calendar that we adopt?
So, through the chair, for example, so like week 1, we could do on Thursday rules, ethics, and intergovernmental affairs and personnel. On week 2, we could do health and eco. And then we could do the Thursday after protective services and physical. So that's all I'm saying, is just put the 2 of them together on Tuesdays and Thursdays and have them start at 6 or 7, depending if it's winter and we can change the grouping of it. But it's a very simple thing, and then we can look at it. If there's a holiday, we can move it. But I'd like to see some sort of grouping of it tonight and have it put down to make people's lives easier so they know how to effectively go through this.
Legislator say that.
Just a caution, if we put like pretty heavy agendas, all 3 meetings together, we're gonna be here till, I think that's part of the consideration when scheduling these meetings is the heft of the agenda. So for example, if audit is, 27 points and it's a lot of discussion, that shouldn't be paired with protective. That might be a 30 point agenda and 2 other meetings. So I think that's part of the scheduling process. And I also think you run into trouble when you really put yourself you back yourself up against a wall. Sometimes it's good to be flexible. I understand, and I'm certainly willing to have some type of a calendar on there, a general calendar, but you can't back yourselves up against a wall without any type of flexibility.
I just want to check to see if anybody else who hasn't spoken yet wants to speak. We'll go to Aaron, we'll go to Tony, and Legislator D'Angelo, and then Bill.
Thank you. I think this is premature to discuss this evening because we don't know who's going to be chairing every committee. They could have a conflict in their schedule, in their work schedule. They might be busy the second Tuesday. So we cannot take a calendar right now and say we're going to do rules, economic development on the second Tuesday. We don't know if the person who's going to be on that particular committee will have a conflict. So I think we should bring this up next month. I don't think we have to do this evening.
Legislator D'Angelo.
Well, I also agree with Legislator Adjournment. I think tonight might be tough to work out. But I will say, relative to what Legislator Sage said, it is a lot of work to stagger some of these committees in the same evening. But I will say we do have surrounding counties that have certain days dedicated just to committee, and I think no one wants to have a very long night of work after their day job. But I think the most important thing we do is make our government as accessible to the people as possible. and to have a preset few days where we have committees. I think that's very important. We want to make sure the people we represent can be part and participate in our government. So I think that maybe the only path forward would be to adopt the legislative calendar, but as having said, we do it subject to change where we can figure out how to, put the language together where we are amending the legislative calendar to include committee days, and we can try to stick to something, and the public will be able to engage a bit easier.
Thank you, Legislator Coolman. And then
Every
Legislator.
town and every village and county has a scheduled day, whether it's a voting meeting or a work session. So you know when the meeting's gonna be in June, and we're in January right now. So if every town can do it, why can't we do it? Also, you guys scheduled a meeting for 1:30 on New Year's Eve. We can schedule them earlier, because you guys have no issue with that. So why don't we schedule earlier and put a few meetings in, instead of doing 1 or 2? That might be a good solution also.
Yeah, I do know other counties that do have daytime meetings, which can be problematic, but that's not
Why would that at all?
Yeah, good point. Legislative Council.
I think going off of the points that were already made by some of the other legislatures, I think that you could pass it subject to scheduling and timing and grouping as agreed upon by the committee. Because we don't, as been pointing out, we don't know who's going to have these committees. We don't know what their schedules are going to be. And I think that, for example, as Legislator Woolman pointed out, if it's a possibility for the committee to start earlier in the day, and all the committee members can do that, then yeah, why couldn't we group it more meetings in the day if they're starting earlier? But we don't know that as we sit here right now. And so I think passing it if we know that it is a collective wish of the legislature to group and to time and to do things for the purposes of efficiency and accessibility and scheduling in a regular fashion, that it's always, let's say, the second Tuesday of the month or something, if we know that that's your intention, then pass it subject to that, with the exact day, time, and grouping to be set by the committee, because the committee should be in charge of their own schedule, because they have to be there. So I think that makes sense.
Legislative Crowley.
So I have proposed committee, I have a proposed resolution. So proposed committee meeting schedule. Whereas the Putnam County Legislature seeks to promote transparency, efficiency, and public accessibility to conduct legislative business. Whereas establishing a predictable and consistent meeting schedule for standing committees supports effective governance and public participation. Now there be it resolved, the Putnam County Legislature hereby adopts the following monthly committee meeting schedule to be held on Tuesdays and Thursdays, with all meetings commencing at 6 in the summer and 7 in the winter, as we have done in the past, or 5:30. We change the timing. Notice in accordance with law. Week 1 would be a full legislative meeting on Tuesday, and then week 1, Thursday, rules, ethics, intergovernmental affairs, and personnel committee following. Week 2 would be health, social, and environmental, and then you have week 3, which would be protective services, public safety committee, and physical services infrastructure, and week 4 would be budget, finance, and audit. So, and then we have enough with this group. So it's just there, be it further resolved, and when a scheduled committee or full legislature meeting falls on a federal, New York State, or county recognized holiday, such meeting shall be rescheduled to the nearest practical Tuesday or Thursday, with proper notice provided in accordance with the open meetings law. Be it further resolved, the chair of the legislature, in consultation with the clerk of the legislature, is authorized to adjust meeting dates to avoid holidays while maintaining the intent and structure of the adopted schedule.
We have a well-articulated amendment. Do we have a second? I did, and you're amazing. I couldn't imagine typing that quickly myself. Do I have a second on that? Very well articulated. Very good. I ask for a roll call vote. On the amendment, we're voting on the amendment to item number 8. Amendment as Legislator Crowley read out to the item number 8.
And again, that could be, it's Just I'm more aligned with the Tuesday and Thursday
Okay.
meeting schedule.
But let's stick with, we're in a roll call vote now.
Sorry.
So, you wouldn't mind?
Legislator Agnizio?
No,
Legislator Birmingham?
No.
Legislator Crowley?
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo?
I'm sorry to ask, but this is the specific committees on these dates, or were we just voting on
Yes.
it on Tuesday and Thursday?
No, as legislator Crowley read them, there were specific committees on specific dates.
I'll amend.
Well, no, we're already in the roll call vote, so let's get this one in the books first. And then, so that's your question, Legislator D'Angelo. Legislator Crowley read out specific dates, Tuesdays and Thursdays, for specific committee meetings to be held. And that's what we're voting on, and we're asking for your up or down or abstention.
I think it's premature. I'm going to abstain from that.
Thank you. Continue, please.
That was an abstention.
Yes.
Legislator Gorman?
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery?
If I may, while I'm in favor of
Sure.
the idea of standardized meeting schedule as I proposed year after year, but it didn't make it to the agenda because of the Republican legislature prevented it from getting on the agenda. I don't know what committees I'm going to be on, and I have obligations sometimes on certain nights, and it's hard to say whether or not I can change them at this time. So I'm happy to support it when we have a meeting schedule that I can look at. So my vote is no, in other words.
Legislator Reagan?
No.
Legislator Russo?
yes.
And Legislator Sage?
I'm gonna vote no, but I'm in favor of a standard, I think we can get there. I'd like to hear maybe another idea. I'm not opposed to it, so. But this particular one, the Tuesday, Thursday.
Motion fails.
Thank you. Now we're back to, and we're still on discussion, but we're back to item 8, as it is before us. Any other discussion on item 8? Is it 8 been moved and seconded, by the way? I kind of lost track. Has been, okay, good. Legislator D'Angelo.
If you could put some language together where it's not specific committees.
Yes, I was gonna,
Yeah, you can
thank
do
you, through the chair. So do you want me to read the whole thing over again?
I just want to see, because you've spoken, I think there's at least one legislator, you haven't spoken on this at all, I don't want to leave you out. Do you have any comments on, I just want to be fair.
No. So I am in favor of having set scheduled meetings. I was on, Fire Advisory Board, and it seemed like a meeting always got scheduled, so there was a conflict. And so I would like to make sure that anybody who has these outside commitments, which is part of the legislative position and duties, that it doesn't, other meetings don't conflict with it. So I myself have a lot of outside meetings with the fire department and some other duties that I have. And I don't know what committees I'll be appointed to this year, so it does make it hard to pick a specific Tuesday or Thursday. But I do think if we could group more of them together and make them standard, like every town, and I know every date that they have a meeting, and it makes it easier. So I am in favor of that.
Legislator Crowley and then Legislator Agnizio. Oh, you did, okay.
but no, I just want to mention, I heard several people say that the towns have their meetings this year. The towns only have one meeting. They have one meeting a month. We can't compare it to town
That's
meetings.
not true.
We have,
It all has a town board meeting.
they have work
Towns
sessions.
have-
What I'm saying is one meeting now. We have all the committees. So it's a little more, we need more structure, we need more time to talk about it. There's no way we can discuss this and come to a conclusion this evening.
Legislator Crowley and then Legislator Sage. Okay, Legislator Sage.
I just want to make a point that there are certain guidelines for the audit committee and the full, there has to be a certain space in there. And you can't have a meeting, I don't know, is it a week before the full, because you have to make sure everything ends up going through the audit committee. So I don't know in months where February was short, how you're going to jam it all in there. But I think it's possible. I just think if we have like a guideline, I think it'd be a good idea. And so we know where we're going, but not so strict that it cannot be, have a wiggle room to accommodate these types of short months or activities, snowstorms, things like that. It has to be a little flexible.
Legislator.
So I can amend regular committee and full legislature, scheduled should be exclusively on Tuesdays and Thursdays except for audit on Mondays, or not to exceed more than 5 regular meeting days per month. So we'll allow 5 meeting days per month that will remain the same. To have all of them, so Tuesday would be, like the first Tuesday of that month would be, we're not to exceed 5 meetings per month, okay? So we do, unless it's a special, we'll put that in there. But Monday, the first Tuesday would be our full, and then we could, as the committees have put out, that committee, the committee people need to choose their days. But we have 5 scheduled meetings days, and it's not to exceed 5 scheduled meeting days.
Including?
Including the full and audit, yeah, it can be done. It's done in other counties all the time, so I don't see the problem.
Okay, do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
I'm sorry. Second. Any further discussion on that amendment? Ask for a roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnesio,
No.
Legislator Birmingham,
No.
Legislator Crowley,
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo,
Yes.
Legislator Woolman,
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery,
I abstain.
Legislator Regan,
No?
Legislator Rousseau,
Yes.
and Legislator Sage.
I'm gonna abstain because I'd like to get more information about the calendar.
I did it in writing.
I'll get a lot of discussion.
I'll gladly get it over in writing.
I'm visual.
Five.
4 yeses, 3 noes, and 2 abstentions.
Thank you. Motion fails.
Oh, because it was 4. Okay.
Yeah, we need 5 to. Any other, now we're back on the main item 8. Any further discussion?
I would like to motion to accept the adoption of the legislative calendar, but subject to, how did you describe that?
Subject to grouping and timing and limitation of days as decided by the committee.
I think it'd be important that we put some groundwork down and have specific days for committees. I think it's in the best interest of public participation and frankly all of us, I think. Obviously, I think that we're not going to get specific committees done tonight. I could agree that there's no way to do that, but I'd like to make sure that we could have that conversation. So
Thank you. You had said, Heather, subject to grouping, timing, and
Grouping, timing, and
availability?
availability
Of committee
of
members.
the committee members
Committee members. Yes, and this is,
in a regular schedule, like
Right.
a set day is, I guess, the point.
before we go to the subject though, where you said subject to, maybe we should just make it clear that we're only talking, this amendment, if I get your gist, is only talking about the committees, not these.
right, I would accept
Keep those there.
these dates, but I would like to see us amend the legislative calendar to include the committees. So we'll accept it based on we're going to amend it down the line. Is what I'd like to see, where it's subject to, as you would say, where we could now include in the legislative calendar and get kind of set in stone committee dates. That's something we'll obviously talk about at another date.
Yeah, regularly occurring and grouped committee dates. So,
I'm going to need it in writing like Nancy. I'm going to need to see some.
yeah,
But I don't want to stifle anybody's suggestions here.
I think, yeah, regularly.
Tell you what, can we do this? Can we put this aside? We're going to talk about it more tonight. Can we get through the rest of the? I'm just making a suggestion. I don't want to. That would be a vote. Yeah, maybe if you could write something, and I think before you do that, though, we need your advice about how do we move something on the agenda. I believe we just need a vote to table this to the end of the meeting.
Correct.
Okay, if that's amenable to folks, I'd like to make a motion to table item 8 until the end of the meeting, so our council can have some time to write something up, so that we can get it.
So we're gonna table these all together, Sharon?
For tonight's meeting, though,
The entire, all of table, we're tabling this entire.
but we're gonna come back to it at the end of the meeting, so that way Heather can have some time to write it up.
Tabling the adoption of the calendar to be last on.
Yes.
You can write it up for
And-
review.
And clearly though, this is already stated in our legislative manual,
It is.
that we need to do this anyway, we haven't been following it, so.
Well, it's a little different from what you're suggesting, and that's why I think we may have to
But
come back
there's
and
two parts to that legislative manual. One is specific that it says meetings should be set in the calendar,
Right.
correct? That is specific, and Heather agreed as council.
Sure.
The other part was more specific to and can be used for committees.
Right.
So it's really an interpretation of what you'd like to proceed. But it does not deter from saying that this should not have committee meeting. So I would like to come back to it all.
Okay.
I agree.
Jake,
So are you making a motion to?
I'm making a well, you're in motion right now, I want to, does Jake's motion have a second at this point?
Second.
Okay.
Alternate motion?
But, okay, so why don't we do this? Can I make a motion then to table Jake's motion until the end of the meeting, along with tabling item 8 to the end of the meeting? So it's like those
Yeah.
Russian dolls, we got a doll inside, a doll inside. Your motion's, your amendment is still on the table, and I'm gonna make a motion to table Jake's amendment. Do I have a second?
The entire.
Along, yes, we
Yes,
gotta get,
second.
we gotta walk.
Agenda item 8.
Oh, no, we gotta do this one first, then we walk up to that, and then we go back.
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, so right now before us, Madam Clerk, where your head is spinning, I'm sure. Yes, okay, this motion is to table Jake's amendment to item 8.
That council's going to.
Yes.
propose at the end.
Yes. Can I do an all in favor of this? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I'd like to make a further motion to table item 8 until the end of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Opposed?
Okay, one negative. Thank you, Tony. What I'd like to do now is make a motion to accept additionals. We have 3 items before us that are additional, and the reason I'm doing it now is because the next item is one of those additionals. It's item number 9, approval. Well, first of all, I'll make a motion to accept the additional to item number, it's the highlighted ones, guys. Additional number 9 revised, there's 2 of those, and there's an additional revised number 18. I'll make a motion to accept those. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So, Madam Clerk, now we'll move on to item number 9. Madam Clerk, we have 2 additionals for item 9. Can it be fair to be said that we're going to substitute both item 9s for what's currently in our packet?
Yes.
Okay, so take your existing item number 9, set it aside, and insert therein the 2 item number 9s that have highlights in them. Okay, approval, revision to the resolution, designation of official newspapers, resolved that pursuant to section 2.04K of the Putnam County Charter, the following newspapers to wit, we have to insert a newspaper here. I'll make a motion to insert, and we can put more, but I'll make a motion to put in Putnam County Press. I believe that's the one we got a couple letters, but Putnam County Press are here, second, for the press, is hereby designated as the official newspaper of Putnam County for the publication of concurrent resolutions, election notices, official canvasses, enactments, and other matters related by law to be published in the year 2026. In the event that county newspapers are not available, where not contrary to law, publication of the county website will satisfy the public notice requirement. If contrary to law, the Journal News shall serve as our official newspaper in such circumstance. So in other words, to break that down, every year we have to designate one or more official newspapers. I'm making a motion to designate the Putnam Press. If the Putnam Press isn't publishing and we need to get something published by a certain deadline, we are saying when it's not contrary to law, we can put it on our website. If it is contrary to law, we're going to fall back to the Journal News. So that's the motion I just made. Do I have a second?
Chairman, I have a
Yes,
question.
okay.
Number 9, I believe, was just to approve the revision of the wording of the appointment of the papers,
Okay.
including
Got
what is highlighted, so it's not really addressing.
The newspapers themselves? Got it. Okay. So we are leaving that, so I'll withdraw the name Putnam Press, so we're just going to go leave it the way it is. And so we're amending item number 9. along those lines. And we're not naming newspaper at this point.
Correct, correct.
All in favor of that amendment?
Aye.
Any negatives? Any abstentions? Okay. Now we are actually back to the original number 9. Well, this now, and now we're going to insert a newspaper, four more.
Number 10.
Oh, number 10? Okay, number 10, great. Number 10, resolved that pursuant to section 2.04K, Putnam County Charter, the following newspapers to wit, Putnam County Press is hereby appointed, designated as the official newspaper of Putnam County for the publication of all current resolutions, election notices, official canvasses, enactments, and other matters required by law to be published in the year 2026. In the event county newspapers are not available and were not contrary to law, publications of the Putnam County website, on the Putnam County website will satisfy the public notice requirement. If contrary to law, the Adjournment shall serve as an official newspaper in such circumstance. So moved by me for the Putnam County Press. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or any additional newspapers? Yes.
I'd like to add the Putnam County News and Recorder and the Putnam County Courier.
Is there a second? Okay, so we have 3 now. We've got the Putnam County Press, Putnam County Putnam News and Recorder, and then the Putnam County Courier. That's been seconded. You're amending my motion, so all in favor of that amendment? Aye?
Aye.
Okay,
Just
so
the amendment.
just the amendment,
Are
right,
you voting on
right. So now, and did that carry, Madam Chair? I think so. We put in 3, we put it, okay, I'll slow down.
Okay, so you.
My motion was for just the Putnam County Press.
it? Okay.
I made that motion and seconded it, wasn't voted on yet. Legislator Montgomery wanted to add, she wanted to amend my motion to add 2 more newspapers, the Putnam County News and Recorder and the Putnam County Courier. That was seconded. So now we're just voting on the amendment to add 2 more to my motion to just have the press.
Okay, so we didn't have a vote on yours.
Right, because it's amended. It's being amended right now.
Okay.
And then we have to get through that vote, and then we have to go back. Then we'll go, if it passes, then we'll have 3. If it doesn't pass, we'll back to just the press.
Okay, so we're voting on 3 papers, the press,
No, what we're voting on now is
the amendment.
the amendment to add the PCNR and the Putnam County Courier to my motion, which was for just the press. And that has been seconded. I'm seeing some,
I was just wondering if, so we vote to take all 3, and then we vote on all 3 at once, or?
no, we vote on adding 2 now, and if that passes, then we're voting on 3. If adding 2 now fails, we're just back to voting for 1. Okay.
Thank you for that.
Would you like to
explanation.
comment? Yes.
Sure, could I?
Public comment, yes, of course, we've got a motion on the floor.
We received some information from Legislative Council regarding, adoption of certain papers. I don't know if, will I need to go into executive session, or can I say the papers out loud since I nominated them? I think it's appropriate. But I can word it so it's in general. There was concern about, 2 papers. We have 1 email expressing that concern and 1 confidential memo that explains what the concern is. And I can address what we received in the email because it wasn't confidential. And you received my statement in a email to you all on January 2nd that expressed my concern about not adopting these papers. So the PCNR has served for decades as the paper of record for the west side of the county with consistent circulation in Putnam Valley, Phillipstown, Nelsonville, Cold Spring, and Garrison, where I represent. Together, the PCNR and the Courier are the only newspapers published in Putnam County that collectively cover the entire county geographically. Excluding PCNR or the Courier would leave a significant portion of our residents without a locally rooted paper of record. I understand that the administration's concerns regarding United States Post Office Form 3526, publication timing and administrative process. However, those issues were subsequently corrected, documentation was submitted, and importantly, similar scrutiny does not appear to have been applied evenly across all publications nominated here tonight. The Putnam One of the papers, for example, is not a paid publication. It does not have subscribers in the traditional sense, and is not a member of the New York Press Association, which raises legitimate questions about comparability and standards. So beyond these technicalities, I'm kind of troubled by the appearance that the editorial content, particularly critical opinion pieces, seems to always influence our decision to adopt a local paper. Sorry, there's nobody that has been affected more by the local papers than me, because our papers have traditionally been owned by right-wing minded publishers. I grew up in a time in elected office when Roger Ailes owned my local paper. Moved to my town, took over the local paper with the intent to take every Democrat out. And I lived through that. And I voted every year to adopt that paper, because that's what's right for the constituents that I serve. I don't just serve Democrats, I serve all the people of Putnam County. So, with that little story, there's nothing I can do about it but to continue to uphold the Constitution and the freedom of press, and offering that to the constituents that I represent, and the constituents I don't represent in Putnam County, but we share those constituents. So I want to be clear about something. I am not a fan. I am not a fan of this system at all. Every year I cringe, sorry, when I have to do this, because I've read lies about myself. I've read headlines that were complete fabrications, and nope, not a fan of it. But this is the system that we have. If we don't like it, as I don't, I definitely plan on advocating on the state level to change the way we have to publish legal notices. That, I promise you, no disrespect to the papers, but I've had it with this every year. It's like, who's friends of the paper this year, who's not, who's gonna vote for them. So let's just stop. Let's restore integrity to the free press through designation votes. What we can do is just what I said, go to Albany and challenge that. So until that law changes, our obligation is to act fairly within the system we have, not to weaponize it. And for that reason, I will be advocating for the designation of the Putnam County News and Recorder, the Putnam County Courier, and the Putnam Press. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the amendment? Legislative?
Yeah,
Sure, legislative.
so my, respectfully disagree with Legislator Montgomery. My concern is not of the content or the political verbiage or anything that they say. My only concern is the cost to the county and the ability to publish our official notices. If you're designated as an official legislative newspaper for all of our publications, for all of our legal notices, they should not be charging certain fees that two of the newspapers are charging. And we only need to choose one. I'm open to revisiting this after we choose one tonight, and revisiting this at another, maybe next month, and saying, you know what, can you reconsider this, and we can add you as our official newspaper. But it's not fair that we have two newspapers that are charging this certain fee and one that's doing the right thing and not charging it. So I would be in favor of choosing the newspaper based on the fees that they charge. And that's what it boils down to for me, not content. And they're all, their circulation is all sufficient to be a circulation for a newspaper, for the official newspaper. But I'd like to maybe pick one tonight and revisit the other two at maybe next month. Doesn't keep us from picking too long.
Any further discussion on the amendments?
Just
Yes, Legislator Crowell.
kind of on, you're somehow in my head tonight, which is funny. I do agree with you about the Albany part of it. It's really sad that the newspapers, when I moved here a decade ago, we had a ton of newspapers and circulation has started and got less and less and less. And it's really something that is needs to be preserved. It's a wonderful thing, and unfortunately, it's something that's becoming very hard to sustain. So I do think that, if we can support all three, I would like to see it, but I do agree that the two fees, if they can be mitigated, I have no problem with that, and I will support all three of them gladly. I also believe that as legislators, maybe we need to write a letter to Albany to see that some things also change moving forward too, because if we run into a time where it's a holiday or something, like we just did, and something needs to be published, there needs to be an alternate way for us to get a notice out there, considering we're in 2026 now. So I'm in complete support of all three of them. I would just like to see the 2 out of the 3 fees mitigated, and then I will absolutely vote to have all 3 of them.
Legislator Montgomery.
Sure, I would like to address the comments about the fee that you all obviously discussed in the back room there, and it wasn't discussed in public, and I didn't have an opportunity to.
That's a letter from our legal counsel.
Sure.
No cross conference?
You discussed it in caucus, not in front of the public, and it was clearly discussed in the back room. And I'd like to speak to the fees, which are, the fees I think we're speaking about are not for the legal notices, they're for the affidavits, and affidavits are always optional. And half the towns pay to have the affidavits, half don't. Some towns always pay to have the affidavit. You don't have to pay the fee. If you don't want the affidavit, you don't have to bother with it. So some papers are charging the $10 affidavit fee because that is what the New York Press is charging. Putnam Press, I'm not using name. Only sometimes in Putnam County, if there's a procurement, there is some, that for New York State, then they require an affidavit, and that's asked through our county clerk. And when they require it, they just ask the county clerk, and that's when we have to pay it. It's not always at that fee we have to pay it. We can choose not to. We don't have to put that affidavit in. The point is that, we're following measure with half of the towns in our county that don't pay that fee and don't submit the affidavits, and half that do. And I just, we're talking about $10 fees. We just approved thousands of dollars, or a few thousand, a couple thousand, I don't know, dollars for public information officers, for county employees to provide information to the public. I'm not sure, if you guys are seeing that information. I guess it depends on what Facebook page you're following or not. But, this approach for adopting these 3 papers recognizes the history, the geography, most of all. I think my district would be at a great disadvantage if we didn't have the Putnam County News and Recorder. It recognizes fairness and the reality of our legal constraints with New York State law. So the fees should not be the sticking point, but I think our legislative council is going to disagree.
I do have a legislator who just wants, unless I don't want, or Legislator Montgomery, do you have a question to put to her?
No,
I can ask you.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm sure I know what's coming.
Okay. Legislator D'Angelo.
Yeah, just to obviously address the discussion we had, obviously back there was, as it pertains to classified information that we have in this packet, I think that the number amount of what the affidavit fee is.
Executive session wasn't called, sir. Thank you, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't see how we can move forward without this being looked through fully. It's classified information you have in your possession.
Sure.
That we should wait.
Any further I'm sorry, Chair. Yeah. Okay. Legislator Reed.
Procedural question, like adding the other 2 newspapers, does that increase the work obligation of the staff in order to get that done?
I don't, it does. Okay.
It does?
Oh, I'm asking.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, it does. There's a different format to get your submissions in 2 of the papers versus the other one. So that's just a factor. So yes.
Are there any legislators who haven't spoken on this amendment yet who might want to speak? Bill?
Thank you, Chairman. we're lucky here in Putnam County that we have 3 good papers. Many counties throughout the state and actually throughout the country don't have any papers. And some that do have papers, they're not adequate, to be honest with you. I would support all 3 papers. I think they're very important. I understand the fee structure on 2 of them. I would say pass all 3 of them today, and we can have a negotiation with 2 of the papers, and maybe they will lower their fee. But at this moment, freedom of the press, things are written about me negatively, but I don't care. That's the way the nature goes sometimes. But we should support 3 papers here in Putnam County. We're lucky to have 3 papers. They're all old papers. They're established part of our community. And I can tell you that they're not doing well financially. And by taking money away from 2 of them, there could be an issue. So I would like to see all 3 papers back in the fall.
Any legislator who hasn't spoken on the matter? Legislator Russo.
I'd like to support the 1 paper, investigate the other 2, have a discussion, see if we can get the fees waived, and then reconsider them at the next meeting.
Any legislator who hasn't spoken yet? I haven't spoken on this matter. I was going to echo I'm going to echo what Bill said, Legislator Goldman, and Legislator Montgomery certainly. You know, in the day and age where we have such diffuse information today, some people, certainly all my nieces and nephews don't read papers, but they're on social media, get things other way, in other, information in other formats as well. I think if we were to limit the amount of newspapers to just 1, I do think that would be a disservice because of as Nancy was saying, the geographic diversity of our county, because of the coverage of one newspaper over the other. And, I think all 9 of us are in favor of greater transparency, greater clarity when it comes to our legal notices. So I do hear what the clerk says, that it might be a little bit more work, but I think when we're talking about public discussion, when we talk about publication, when we're talking about, transparency, I think that extra work is justified. I tend to agree with Bill. I think maybe, hopefully, I would think we would, and I'm not going to ask I would think we'd have to enter into a contract with any of these newspapers, and to the extent any contract might violate something that whether it's the county attorney's office, whether it's a OGS, Office of General Services, might not approve. I think that can be worked out later. So I'll be voting in favor of the amendment. Do you have a legal point you want to give in public?
Yeah.
Or
I think it's just a general
okay.
comment. I just wanted to say, number 1, that any legal opinion that I give is not meant to take any position that is antithetical to any paper. I obviously support, the dissemination of information with respect to that, and I do agree, irrespective of what position that the legislature takes, whether it's with 3 papers or 1 paper, we still have to negotiate a contract with them, and I think that any fees or anything like that can be addressed through the contract process, number 1. And number 2, I just want to, state that just so that it's clear for the public's benefit that, affidavits may be required in certain circumstances, but having the opportunity to get an affidavit is something that as a right we have to be able to do, because these are legal notices. We have to be able to substantiate that proper legal notice was given. So while we might not need at any given moment a specific affidavit, we need to have the option to lawfully obtain an affidavit to prove that we gave the legal notice that the public is entitled to. So I just want to correct that it's not like we can just choose to or not to. It's just that we have to have the opportunity to get that. But I wanted to make sure I made the point of saying that it was not my intention to dissuade or persuade anyone to go one way or the other with respect to 1 or more papers. So I wanted to make that clear in case I gave a misimpression.
Legislator Montgomery, you have your hand up.
And I don't expect the answer now, but I think it would be worth investigating how often do we ask for that affidavit, or who's required to? And it's a charge of $10 for some of the papers. So, how often in this county are we asking for that affidavit, and how much does it amount to for the, sake of having the distribution of a paper in my district?
Legislator Adjournment.
Thank you, that was my question, that I was going to ask, what was the cost? That's fine, but I'm in favor this evening of approving all 3 papers. We can negotiate at another time.
Any other legislator on this matter? Okay, we have a motion before us for just the Putnam Press, which has been amended to include the PCNR and also the Putnam County Courier. This is a vote on that amendment to add those 2 newspapers to the underlying resolution.
So not including the press, you just.
We're just doing it to amend the motion. So this vote will just be to add the Putnam County News and Recorder and the Putnam County Courier to a motion we will vote on after that vote is taken. So yes, just for those two newspapers. Roll call vote, please. I'm sorry.
Voting on what?
Okay, so I spoke a little quickly. I made a motion for just the Putnam Press. That was seconded. We had discussion. Nancy made a motion to amend that motion to add the Putnam County News and Recorder and the Putnam County Courier. That was seconded, I believe.
Yes.
Now we have to walk again back out of the resolution, so we got to first resolve.
Voting on all 3.
No, right now we're voting on 2. If that passes, then we're going to vote on 3. Yes. Everyone clear on that? Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adjournment?
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham?
Yes.
Legislator Crowley?
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo?
Yeah.
Legislator Goulman?
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery?
Yes.
Legislator Reagan?
Yes?
Legislator Russo?
No.
And Legislator Sage?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Now we're voting on the item number 9 as revised. We're voting on 3 newspapers now. Voting for the Putnam County Press, we're voting for the Putnam County News and Recorder, and we're voting for the Putnam County Courier. Any discussion on the final resolution? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote. Vote, do you have a comment, Legislator Sage?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, I think Council mentioned that this can be negotiated, contracts can be negotiated, and negotiate these particular fees. That's my concern. I don't think it's fair to not charge, you know what I'm saying, to charge 2 and not to charge the other. I mean, I think it should be, even across the board, it should be negotiated.
On the question?
Got Legislator Reed?
Thank you. On the question, we passed the resolution as amended. Does it require the county to publish in all 3?
Yes.
Or attempt to publish in all 3? So if one of them are closed, one of them are not working on it, so the obligation is all 3 as amended?
Yes, and the whole idea here, the reason we adopt this at our organizational meeting, because in the, theoretically, people watching and sitting here in the audience, if they want to know what legal activities are happening in Putnam County that require public notice, they're either going to subscribe to or pick up the Putnam County Courier, the Putnam County News and Recorder, or the Putnam Press, and they rely on this resolution to say, okay, if there's a tax sale, I want to see where that's going to be held. I want to know about that. This resolution tonight, any resolution that designates official newspapers, puts the public on notice that if you want to see legal notices from Putnam County government for any myriad of things, these are the newspapers you look. So yes, we can't pick and choose. I don't know if that was your question between the 3. We would have to publish in all 3 because we don't want to require everyone, people to buy 3 newspapers.
Okay, so that question, right, so as written, it would be required in all 3 as compared to if the word or was inserted, right? Paper A or paper B or paper C, we would be able to fill our obligation of communicating with the public, and it would give the county the flexibility to deal with some of the things like Legislator Sage brought up here. If we, I made an amendment, I'm asking if or is perhaps the better way to go about this. Paper A or paper B or paper C.
What that would do, I would think, would raised an ambiguity among the public who were aligned to read a paper. Now, if the tax sale just happened to be in the Putnam County Courier but not the press, and somebody subscribes to the press and they didn't see the land, the auction, they might want to bid on it. And so I'm pretty sure that we have to go ahead and publish in all three, and that's been standard. It's not something new. Once we have had one newspaper, we've had two, we've had three. I think at some point we even had four, and they were published in all four. So yeah, I hear what you're saying, Tommy. It gives us flexibility, but it's problematic for the public who are going to rely on this resolution.
Right, and thank you. So that answers my question, and that was the source of it. Not that we would look to not provide information to one, but to give the county the flexibility to fulfill our obligation, whether or not those entities are operating, answering the call, or going to publish it in time. So that's was more of my input, but thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Sage?
Can I ask that our county auditor clarify the question that I had regarding the negotiation?
Michelle?
Usually when this resolution is passed, if it's passed tonight, tomorrow all the departments can use the newspapers. So I'm not sure what the contract process is. We usually just go by the resolution and then all the departments can use the newspapers.
And I don't want to, we shouldn't really get too deep in the weeds contractually. Good point, but I would think probably the method would be, let's err on the side of publication. If there's an extra $10 that has to be paid, we'll go ahead and pay it before the contract is finally negotiated. I'd rather see, because if there's breakdown in the contract process, I would imagine, and we can't work with one of the newspapers, I would imagine we're going to have to go back and amend this resolution again to let the public know we're not going to publish in newspaper X. So, good point.
Right,
And,
we don't have a contract normally.
yeah, okay.
So I don't know if that's something we should be doing.
We'd have to go back, I mean, it would be procurement would raise this, and we would have to do exactly as you said. We would have to provide notice, we would have to put it on the agenda, and we have to explain why we were ceasing to use.
Yeah. But in the meantime, if whatever resolution passes tonight, one, two, or three newspapers, I would imagine the administration would agree that let's publish in all three until whatever, well, those are the official newspapers, it's not an interim official newspaper. And if at some point in the future, one of them is no longer, we have to come back and amend this to take that newspaper out.
Correct.
Okay, good point. Thank you, and thank you, Amy, for bringing it up. Any other comments on the resolution before us for those three newspapers? Roll call vote, please.
Legislator Adnesio?
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham?
Yes.
Legislator Crowley?
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo?
Yes, and thank you for explaining it that way.
Sure.
Legislator Woolman?
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery?
Yes.
Legislator Reagan?
Yes.
Legislator Russo?
Yes.
And Legislator Sage?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item number 11, permission for legislature and staff to attend conferences, seminars, official business of the county. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 12, authorization for the county auditor to approve erroneous assessments under $2,500. Whereas real property tax law, section 556 sub 8A, authorizes us as a levying body to delegate to an official to authorize payment of bills without prior audit by such board. Resolved that the county legislature hereby delegates to the county auditor the authority to review and approve applications for refunds of taxes due to erroneous assessments, whether by clerical error or unlawful entry, and where the recommended refund is $2,500 or less. Resolved that pursuant to statute, this authority shall expire on December 31st, 2026. I'll move this. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. I have a discussion. Michelle, at every full meeting we have, we say reports from the county auditor, and we say there was no activity. Is this that resolution that we're referencing? Okay. I want to make clear, when we say that every month, we're not saying nothing's going on at the county auditor's department. They've been sleeping all month. That's what this means. It means simply that there were no erroneous assessments under $2,500, and we have to have that report every month. So over time, we just get shorthanded with that, and I don't want anybody to think that our county auditors are sleeping when there's no activity. Any further discussion on this matter? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're moving now to item 13. The next several items, one of which, item 18, is an additional, so just keep that in mind, are appointments for legislative representatives to various boards, commissions, other bodies that we either act as an appointer of or participant in. And the first one is the appointment for the legislative representative to the Cornell Cooperative Extension Board. Is there a motion? I've served on this board for the last year. We all know what Cornell does. They're a great organization. I would like to put my name in nomination to continue being your representative to that board. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 14, appointment of legislative representation to the jury board. Currently, we have legislator Adjournment as the representative to that board. I would ask legislator Adjournment, would you like to continue doing that? Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Legislator D'Angelo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 15, legislative representative to the Putnam County Soil and Water Conservation Board. We had in the last year a legislator from District 5 and legislator Russo on that board. We have a new member from legislator District number 5 who I think will be serving on other boards. I don't mind stepping into that role, but I would certainly defer to any of my colleagues. In addition to legislator Russo, I understand you want to continue. So I would put my name, legislator Russo's first, and my name up for that. Or is there?
To make that motion to appoint legislator Russo and legislator Birmingham to the Soil and Water Board District.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
16, appointment of legislative representative to the Records Management Board. This is currently occupied by legislator Goldman, who I think is doing a great job. And I was wondering, legislator Goldman, would you be interested in continuing on that? Would you be interested? Yes, okay. I'll make a motion for that. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 17, legislative representation to the Putnam County Board of Health. This one's a little different. This one is a term position. Even though we have it on our agenda every month, this has to be filled to the extent they are still on the legislature by somebody whose term expires December 31st, 2027. Legislators say if it was on this board last year, you're locked in, unless you want to not fill this. But we, as a matter of procedure, we do have to approve this with your name in it. If you decline, we'll put somebody else in. So I'll make the motion that Legislator Sage continue to be the Putnam County Board of Health legislative representative. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Do you accept? Any further discussion? Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Okay, folks, this is the amended one. This is item 18. Madam Clerk, we're simply replacing the highlighted one with what was in our agenda to begin with. Okay, so take out the old 18 and just look at the highlighted one. Okay, appointment of legislative representative to the Putnam County Ag and Farmland Protection Board. Currently, we have legislator Crowley on that board. It's my understanding you don't wish to serve on that.
That was a term as well.
Oh, that was a term, yes.
It was a term, and I wanted to nominate legislator Montgomery if she wanted to accept that. I wanted to give that to her and nominate her for that. I believe the meetings are 9:45 the last Wednesday of every month.
Is there a second to that nomination? You accept?
I accept.
Are there any other nominations? Is there any discussion?
You have an addition to this?
We do. It's the highlighted one, Bill?
Number 18?
Yep.
Okay, did you accept it already?
We did. We accepted all three at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 19, appointment Putnam County Representative to the Catskill Regional Off-Track Betting Corporation Board. In the year 2025, this legislature asked for our representation to be Legislator Paul Yonke. I think that, and of course, he's no longer on our legislature. I think, Tommy, you had said Legislator Regan was interested.
We accept the nomination.
I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any other nominations? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 20 is appointment legislative representative to the Fish and Wildlife Management Board. Resolved, and well, first of all, we'll go through Legislator Montgomery's been on that board for how many years? Nancy, you've been on for quite a while.
7.
7. And do you wish to continue?
I do, and I'm grateful tonight to have a colleague here from that board, Mike Tazi's here. So he just left his Sportsman's Federation meeting across the street. So he's our great advocate for, on the Sportsman's Federation and a new member of the Fish and Wildlife Board.
Great. Wonderful.
So I gladly accept. Can
Thank
you
you.
tell him really?
Yes. I'll make that motion. Do we have a motion for Nancy?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 21, appointment Law Library Board. And here are 2 positions, and this would be, again, Legislator Yonke was on it before, and of course he's not here anymore. I was on it as well, but I think we're gonna, is there anybody interested in being on that? Did Amy?
I think myself.
We need somebody else?
myself. And
Jay. Okay. Yes, legislators Sage and D'Angelo. Are there any other, well, I'll make a motion for that. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any other nominations? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Item 22, appointment legislative liaison to the Veterans Affairs. Again, that's a 2-person appointment. We had a legislator who's no longer on the board last year, and we also had legislator Adonizio. First legislator Adonizio, would you like to continue?
Yes.
Is there anyone else interested in this?
Legislator Crowley.
Okay, we have, I'll make a motion for legislators Adonizio and Crowley. Are they, these are, just for this year, okay, and they're both full, well, who's the alternate? Yeah, we've got the Designation here. Tony B,
No, I will Aaron's the alternate.
alternate. Okay, so it's legislator Adonizio as the rep and legislator Crowley as the alternate. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Item number 23, approval of appointment legislative representation to the Putnam County Traffic and Safety Board. We've had some great representation last year from legislators Goldman and Russo. Would both of you like to continue on that board?
Absolutely.
Anybody want to make a motion for that?
Make a motion for Legislator Russo to go to Traffic Safety Board
Legislator Goldman?
and Legislative Board.
Is there a second? Any other nominations? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 24, appointment legislative representative to the Putnam County Fire Advisory Board. We have legislator, and now this again is the, we have a rep and an alternate. I believe Legislator Crowley is the rep, and are you interested in continuing? You served that in 2025. Is there anybody interested as the alternate? Legislator Regan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Myself.
Would somebody like to make the motion for those positions? Is there a second?
Second.
Any other nominations? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 25, we're going to go through 25. Appointment Budget and Finance Committee representation to the Capital Projects Committee, whereas Putnam County Charter Section 705B3 provides that there shall be a Capital Projects Committee consisting of various members, including designee of the Budget and Finance Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the Budget and Finance Committee, that blank, be appointed to the Budget and Finance Committee, representative to the county's Capital Committee, the Capital Projects Committee for a period of 1 year expiring December 31st, 2026. Is this for the minority member? Is this the one that,
This one, no, the
No?
minority member is automatic.
automatic, okay.
This is, sometimes it's been tabled until the committees have been formed.
Got it.
Traditionally, it was the chair of physical.
Okay, so what is 26 then?
That's the minority.
Oh, there it is, okay, so we're gonna table this one then. Why don't we do that? We'll table 25.
I'll second. 25.
Right, so we'll table 25. I'll make a motion. And the reason for that, folks, we haven't established our committee process yet. Traditionally, and I think by charter, the person on this committee, on the Capital Projects Committee, which is a countywide committee consisting of various members of the administration and the legislature, one of those positions is reserved for the chair of the Physical Surface Committee. We haven't appointed that person yet, so that's why we are discussing the tables. So Legislative Council has one.
Through the chair, do you wish to table it to committee or do you wish to just table?
I think we would need to table it to our next meeting, the full legislature, so that we have to get our committees established within a few weeks, so that by that time we'll be established. So that's what the motion is, to table it to our February meeting. Thank you for that. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Okay, item number 26, appoint legislative representative to member of the Capital Projects Committee. Again, same committee that we were just talking about. Whereas pursuant to County Charter 705B3 provides for the appointment to the county's Capital Project Committee, a member of the county legislature representing the minority political party, if another party is represented, or a member of the elected without party endorsement. Whereas legislator Nancy Montgomery is the sole member of the county legislature representing the minority political party. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Putnam County Charter 705B3, county legislature designates legislator Nancy Montgomery as the additional member of the county's Capital Projects Committee for a period of 1 year, said term to expire December 31st, 2026. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
That does not diminish my popularity just because it's mandated.
Does not. We would have, had there been anyone else eligible, we still would have voted for you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 27, designation of jail chief medical officer. Due to the change in correctional law, section 501 in July of 2017, the position from the medical services provider of Putnam County Jail shall be designated by the Putnam County Legislature to act as the chief medical officer of the jail. Whereas Crime Care was awarded RFP 062024 to provide medical services for Putnam County Corrections Facility from January 1, 2025 through December 31, 2027 with 3 one-year renewable options. And whereas Crime Care has designated Dr. Michael Neshawat to act as Chief Medical Officer for the jail, now therefore be resolved that the Putnam County Legislature hereby confirms the designation of Dr. Michael Neshawat to act as the Chief Medical Officer for the Putnam County Corrections Facility for a period of 1 year, said term to expire December 31st, 2026. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second on that.
Dr. Mike, we all know him, a lot of us know him. He's been serving this county very faithfully, not only as a private practitioner in the medical field, but also as our partner, as our jail physician, and in many other capacities, both in the public sphere and in the not-for-profit sector. Great guy, doing a great job, and I'm happy to support this. Any other comments or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Item number 28, which is the last item on our agenda before we get back to item 8, then we go to other business. Is approval Department of General Services identifying individuals for purchasing. Whereas section 140-1.5 of the Putnam County Code procurement policy requires that the legislature to annually identify the individuals responsible for purchasing and their respective titles. Now therefore be resolved that the Putnam County Legislature reaffirms the county's procurement policy as contained in chapter 140 of the Putnam County Code and identifies the following individuals in their respective titles as the individuals responsible for purchasing. A. John Tully, Commissioner of the Department of General Services. B. Alexis Hawley, Assistant Supervisor for Planning and Design. And C. Michelle Pinto, Senior Account Clerk. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Legislator D'Angelo, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We're now, with the indulgence of my colleagues, I'd like to take off the table item 8. I'll make a motion to do that. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Legislative Council, do you have any suggested? We have a couple of suggested languages. You're good? Okay. Do you have some additional? Oh, is
I
this one?
sent it up. Yeah.
Oh, you did? I thought it came from there. Okay, yes, there's an additional language. So the Well, you can't make an amendment, so I believe it was your amendment, Legislator Crowley, is your amendment to tack on to the end of item 8 following. Motion to adopt the legislative calendar subject to set committee dates and set committee groupings as agreed upon and approved by the respective committees at the full February meeting. That's your, and who seconded that? Or why don't we just ask for a second on that?
Second.
Any discussion, and I'll read it again. Oh, support, yes. And this is an amendment, so the amendment is to the original resolution. Motion to adopt, to adopt the legislative calendar subject to the set committee dates, subject to set committee dates and set committee groupings as agreed upon and approved by the respective committees and is further approved at the February full meeting. That's been moved and seconded by Legislator Russo, moved by Legislator Crowley. Any discussion on the amendment to item number 8? Steve?
If I can.
Yeah.
And that could be standard throughout every year. It makes sense because we'll know by the February meeting what the committees are, and we can leave it as is in years to come.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Legislator Crowley?
And also as in the charter, it reflects both parts equally and doesn't hamstring anybody too tightly, but it holds us accountable to the public and people we represent to be accessible and also schedule their lives accordingly if they want to be involved in something that's here.
Great. Good. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Legislator Agnazio,
Yes.
Legislator Birmingham,
Yes.
Legislator Crowley,
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo,
Yes.
Legislator Woolman,
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery,
Yes.
Legislator Reagan,
Yes.
Legislator Russo,
Yes.
and Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to walk back out of the resolution. Now we have item 8 before us as amended, which has been moved and seconded, item 8, I believe. Any discussion on item 8 as amended? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Legislator Agnazio,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Chairman Birmingham,
That's fine, I didn't take offense, I didn't call it worse. Yes.
Legislator Crowley,
Yes.
Legislator D'Angelo,
Yes.
Legislator Woolman,
Yes.
Legislator Montgomery,
Yes.
Legislator Reagan,
Yes.
Legislator Russo,
Yes.
and Legislator Sage.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you. We're now on to item number 29 from my colleagues. Is there any other business to come before us this evening? Well, legislative nature. Seeing none. The next item is item number 30, recognition of the public on agenda items. Folks, thank you for coming out tonight. We really appreciate that you're here. This is an opportunity for anybody in the public here tonight to comment on any public, to make some public comment on any agenda item. If you wish to do so, we ask you to please come up to our podium and to sign the book and then tell us your name and tell us also the number of the agenda item you wish to speak on, so that way we can all get there. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
There's nothing right.
Can we get a new color this year? Purple pen.
Happy New Year. My name is Nick Kuvach. I'm from Putnam Valley, and I'm speaking on my favorite agenda item, number 1, the pledge.
Yes.
That's specifically the language pledging allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, and the language freedom and justice for all. 5 years ago today, thousands assaulted our Capitol and democratic institutions in Washington, D.C. And Donald Trump recently went on to pardon almost 2,000 of convicted criminals who, many of whom violently attacked police. And we've all seen the videos. I perceive this as an injustice to pardon these violent offenders who attacked the police who are there to defend and protect us. My biggest concern is that the Republican Party has brought a shame upon itself, in my view, for its failure to support and defend our Constitution
and hold convicted felon Donald Trump accountable for his mendacious malfeasance and authoritarian anti-democratic behavior. I ask every self-respecting Republican Party member to either publicly repudiate Trump or quit their party out of their own self-respect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wish to make a comment on the agenda item?
Sorry to.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Gina Sanchirico, and I have a super boring thing to just say that in the calendar, today is the 6th, not the 7th. And the calendar that was approved says that today is the 7th.
Oh my goodness, let's take a look at that. So you've got to come back with us tomorrow.
That's for next year.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you misunderstood. That's this year.
That's this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll bring the Danish tomorrow, okay?
Higher.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Legislators.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you for the purple pen. Motion does not carry. Ray Harris, Colonel Hamlet, why don't you talk about number 15. First, I want to welcome Legislator D'Angelo to the legislature. Congratulations on making it here. Looking forward to seeing you guys and the table and serving people. Congratulations. I also just want to congratulate Legislator Birmingham and welcome back Legislator Russo as Vice Chair of the Soil and Water Conservation Board, which is agenda item 15. Laura, I'm looking forward to seeing how many spotted lantern flies you kill with your car coming back to conferences this year. And Legislator Birmingham, welcome to embarking on what's going to be a fun year for soil and water. So welcome to that, and just want to appreciate you both. I want to thank Legislator Crowley for her service to the Ag Board. There's a lot of overlap with soil and water and Ag, as you know. And a welcome to Legislator Montgomery for coming onto the Ag Board, which also has a very important year ahead of it. So congratulations to all of you, and looking forward to the work ahead, working with each of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will move to item number 31, recognition of legislators. Any legislator wish to comment on anything before us? Legislator Sage, or anything else?
I just want to congratulate Chairman Birmingham and our Deputy Chair Putnam. Thank you all for your service to the legislature. And I'd especially like to welcome our new legislators, Legislator Reagan and Legislator D'Angelo. I'm really looking forward to working with you. I'm excited about a new year ahead. I think we have a lot of exciting things ahead of us, and I'm looking forward to each and every one of you.
Any other comment from my colleagues? Seeing none, I'd like to echo Legislator Sage's comments about everybody. I think one of the biggest strengths of this legislature is that we all bring something different to the legislature. Each of us come from varied backgrounds. Each of us have different professions, different interests, different philosophies even. Starting from my right to the left, Nancy, I joked with you last year. Nancy, last year, I don't know where Jake was born, but last year Nancy was the only one of the 9 of us who was actually a Putnam County native. Growing up in Cold Spring and spending a lot of summers with your family in the southeast as well, you've had a good view of the county and its people. Also, your experience in public service, serving so many years as town councilwoman in Phillipstown. You're certainly bring a lot to this legislature as you have in the past. Bill, you've been on this legislature for going on 11 years now, and you're a small, going on 12, 11 years going on 12. You're a small businessman. I remember going to your establishment down in New York City. You know what it means to meet a payroll, to run a business. That kind of private sector experience, I think, is really going to be acceptable, not more than acceptable, but helpful to us all. So I'm looking forward to working with you. And of course, Tony, with your real estate background and growing up here in Carmel High School, graduate, you certainly bring a lot of local flavor and a lot of real savvy to our board, and continue to do that. So I'm looking forward to working with you. And Laura, you and I have only worked for about a year together, since we both got on together last year. And I know you've got a great experience in the public safety, environmental, firematic services. That's certainly an area that I need to bone up on and learn more about. I'm hoping to learn a lot from you on that. And of course, very much looking forward to working with you. And Jake, we just met this year. You come from a construction management background, and again, I've got to plead ignorance on a lot of that stuff. I've never served on the Physical Services Committee, and I think that is for a reason, because that's somewhere where I'm genuinely deficient, and we're going to rely on people like you to, at least from my perspective, to teach us a lot of things. So we're working with you as well. Tommy, we just met the last couple of years, and again, you've got a varied experience in public safety and our firemantic services. You know, you're going to bring a lot to this legislature in those areas and others. So I'm really excited about, you know, all of us working together with you. And Amy, of course, you've led us in a year where a lot was accomplished. You've led us in so many different areas, and before you were chairman, but also you were the chair and founder of a very important not-for-profit corporation, which helped a lot of people over the years and continues to help them. And that perspective is going to be very good and very helpful for us to have. And of course, Aaron, your experience growing up here in Hudson Valley, but also your experience as a young mom, but more important, well, not more importantly, that's probably the most important job, but your contacts with the federal government. You're a great liaison for us here in Putnam County. You work in our congressional office, and I know you've taught me a few things about how things work, and the things I know you do a lot of great constituent services on behalf of our congressman, and I know you bring a lot to this legislature, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. So, any other comments? Diane, do you have anything to add? Well, I'm just doing my colleague. Diane is sick of me. I'm not gonna, she's known me for 20 years. She's wonderful. No, Diane, of course.
Best year yet.
What's that?
Yes.
Okay. But and I do say the best for last. You guys go above and beyond every single year. When did you start with us? As on the staff itself? I know you were just
yeah, it's over 20 years now.
right.
You were 12 at that time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
She started in kindergarten, and you and your staff do an excellent job. Of course, our auditing department, everyone is just, makes us all do, they're the ones that run this legislature, really. I really believe that. So thank you for both offices and everything you do. If there's no other discussion or comment, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.